morning, my name is Marco Nenciarini. Today I will talk to you about how we have built a backup system for a very big data warehouse system. The slides of this talk will be available on the Python site under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike license. About me, I've been a Linux system administrator for over 10 years, and since the beginning of my Linux experience, I've been a Debian enthusiast. I'm also a Debian developer, and speaking of database preferences, I like PostgreSQL, and so I'm glad of work for the second quadrant, which allows me to work every day with both of them. Okay, I've spoken enough about me, so let's starting with more interesting arguments. This is an overview about my talk. The first part is an introduction to Greenplum. Then I'll illustrate you the context and the requirements that we had to meet. And finally, I will briefly show how we have built our system. The most important thing in this presentation is how Python helped us to reach our objectives. Okay, what is Greenplum database? Greenplum database is a massive parallel processing relational database management system. Its main strength is the ability of scale linearly because of the shared nothing architecture. This architecture allows you to buy commodity hardware. If you need more power, then you simply add the new hardware to your cluster, and your cluster scale its power. It is a fork of PostgreSQL based on 8.2 release, and it's compatible with the PostgreSQL interface. So, if you have an application able to run on PostgreSQL, you can run it on Greenplum. Also, management tools for PostgreSQL can handle Greenplum connection, like pgadmin3. Okay, in this picture you can see an oversimplified schema of Greenplum architecture. The master node, this is the master node, is the external interface to the external world of the Greenplum cluster, and communicate with the host segment through multiple networks. Every slave host contains multiple segments, and that are completely standalone and contains their shard of data and can run without communicating to other segments. The master divide the workload between the segments and return to the client the result of this elaboration. This architecture may seem overcomplicated, but is completely transparent from the point of view of a client. Okay, a few more interesting things about Greenplan. The last year, EMC Corporation, which is one of the biggest ETC companies in the world, acquired Greenplan. So, with this operation has brought new capital and investment into the product. So, shortly after the acquisition, they released the Greenplan Community Edition, which formerly was Greenplan Single Node Edition. This software is free for data scientists, for scientists, for research and development, and even for commercial use, with some limitation of the number of CPU and the number of hosts. Only one host is permitted. Okay. Having said this, we go back to our case. Imagine a very big customer with a large Greenplan database. Lots of data, about 100 terabytes in size, increasing every day. The database contains 10,000 tables and is distributed across dozens of hosts. Backup data is stored in multiple separate hosts, and it is stored in multiple separate hosts. Okay. Now we face the main problem. We have to do a daily backup of all this data, and also we must backup every table separately, because if we backup the whole database in one shot, we cannot find the data inside the dump in the needed time if we need to restore a single table. Okay. Also, we need to store the metadata of this lot of tables and lot of files to retrieve the backed up data timely we needed. To achieve this fast recovery, we choose to use a PostgreSQL database because the metadata itself are quite big. For example, a complete backup consists of about 3 million files, and the metadata is about 1 gigabyte in size. Okay. So the core of the problem is that we have to move around a lot of data in a limited time. 100 terabytes per day means an average throughput of 97 gigabit per second. Or if you prefer, one DVD every 4 seconds, or also 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, or parallel connection. Okay. Fortunately, Greenplan compresses its backup. So we have 50% of data, so we can move only one DVD every 8 seconds, which is a big throughput. Okay, how I did it? Given that the only way to accomplish our task was to parallelize the archiving operation and to maximize the network and disk usage. With such a design, we started our new project, codenamed Greenback. The Greenback architecture. It consists on a master daemon and that coordinates the whole Greenback activity. And there are also an agent for every Greenplan host, which is responsible for copying files from and to the backup server. The multiple backup servers. The whole system is controlled through a command line utility named GBAM. In this picture, you can get an idea of Greenback main operations. First of all, Greenplan takes care of parallel dump the single tables through his command line utility named gpdump. When gpdump dump a single table, the result is one file per segment in the host where the segment resides. The manager keeps a queue of files ready to be archived, and when the file is about to be archived, the manager chooses a backup server and a network path to move the file between the segment and the backup server, and a destination directory. Finally, it asks the agent on the same host where the file resides to send the file to the final destination. Okay, possible candidates language for Greenback implementation were shell scripting, Java, C++, or C, and also, of course, Python. We excluded shell scripting because the complexity of the system and the parallel execution of multiple hosts, which is hard to achieve with shell scripting. We also excluded Java because of its difficulties to interact with the system utilities. And the C and C++ language are always a good candidate to do everything, but we choose Python because it is easier to deploy across multiple hosts, and you know, it also has an extensive standard library which natively support many of features that can allow us to develop such a program, like multi-threading, multi-processing support, networking support, solid support, and so on. Okay, but when using Python, we had to cope with some additional requirements. The Python version installed on backup server, for example, was quite old, only 2.4. And the Python version available on Nodes is slightly better, but only 2.6 with a few additional modules provided by Greenplan. The only positive thing that was PsychoPG2 was available on the master, giving us the ability to exploit our PostgreSQL database. Okay. To manage the node agent, we use the Pyro Python Remote Object Library. Pyro is a very portable pure Python library that allows the manager to see the remote agents as local objects. Invoking methods on remote on this local object that are proxy will transparently result in invocation of the same methods on the remote object, and accessing attributes results in accessing the remote attributes in the remote object. Okay, the good thing is that all these communication are completely hidden by the library. So we can, using that library, the agent code has been reduced to a class with, which exposes a little bunch of methods, and besides an initialization of this library, nothing more is required to communicate to the agent. Okay. The agent process also will report its status through both a callback provided by Pyro and through logging on the metadata database, our Postgres metadata database. To deploy and start the agent, we also use the standard Python library. We use the combination of chat module and pipe with the SSH connection. The manager uses SSH to invoke Python on the remote host, then streams the agent code through its standard input. And then the code will be uncompressed on the remote host through the tar file module. This method of deploy was very effective and allowed us to shorten the development and the debugging cycles. At first, we tried to keep the file transfer code as simple as possible. So we used Paramico, which was available on the Greenplan nodes. Paramico is an always-on SSH library written in pure Python, which makes possible to control an SSH connection from Python without worrying about pipes and subprocessors. The resulting code was very elegant. Moreover, it didn't require any support whatsoever on the destination host apart the SSH daemon. But in any case, as you can see in this slide, it was a failure. It was a failure because the encryption overhead was too much. A single process doing a file transfer was unable to push data at more than 10% of the available bandwidth. Due to the low CPU power availability on descending nodes. Also, Paramico requires more CPU than applying binary SSH, and doesn't perform very well with the Python version provided by Greenplan. So we had to elaborate a backup plan. we needed something sample, okay, that could run on a backup node, and that was able to receive a file at maximum network speed, saturating the bandwidth. The Python standard library helped us again through the socket server package. Using it, we built a very simple server that in just 150 lines of code does everything we needed. In order to run it on the backup server, we also developed a small Python module called SSH Launcher that allowed us to copy an arbitrary number of Python modules on the remote host, loading them into memory, and finally executing a specified method. It does the whole process without writing anything on the destination host in less than 100 lines of code. Here you can see a snippet of this code. It is very simple, and it take the module list that you have passed in the manifest array, get them and bundle them in a very simple way. It write one line containing the name, one line containing the size, and then the module code compressed at one level of GZIP. Thank you. Okay. It also handles module that contain other module with packing, sending init.py module over the network. Okay, this is here it writes the name of the main method that will be launched on the other side. This is the code that actually execute SSH, passing this simple line of code that compile the input, give it a name, and exec utilizing the exec call. Then it uses pipe to pass the bootstrap code and flashing the output to send the data to the remote site. This is the bootstrap code. It is also very simple. This read the module name, strip the .py extension, read the name, the size, decompress the code, compile it, and load in the sys.modules array. That's all. This simple code is all we need to remote every code we want on the remote machine. I really like this design, and I thought it was elegant and it could work. And actually, it worked. With this implementation, we are finally able to saturate the available bandwidth. Okay, this is the end of my task. On my talk. I hope I was able to describe the requirements of this project and to let you understand the context. But most importantly, how Python proved us to be a Swiss Army knife in our hands and helped us to react to changes in requirements and to unexpected issues. Okay, Greenback is still an ongoing project, and we are able to meet the full backup requirements in 1 day. The next step will be focused on manage backup file and incremental updates. Then restore operation. Okay. We are also thinking within second quadrant to port Greenback to PostgreSQL, dumping distributed database with the PL proxy. In any case, we are confident that Python will help us to reach our goal. Question? No question? Okay.